Well, folks, it turns out that America is such a racially diverse place, such a wonderful, tolerant place that literally anyone can now be a white supremacist, like anyone of any race. So you'll remember that a couple of days ago, there was a man who crashed a U-Haul truck into a security barrier outside the White House. Now, this sort of thing has happened before. In fact, back in April of 2021, there was a police officer in Washington, D.C. who was actually killed by a person who ran him over near the Capitol building. We don't talk about that situation because it wasn't connected with January 6th. You know the names of people like Brian Sicknick, who may have died as a result of January 6th, but did not die on January 6th, and it's still unclear. You know his name. You don't know the name of the officer who was killed in an actual quasi-terror attack by the U.S. Capitol because the person who killed him was not actually like a MAGA member. Okay, well, this is a perfect example of that sort of flip. So there's a man who crashed a U-Haul truck into a security barrier outside the White House, and this was top of the news. It was the biggest story in the country. Why? Because he had a Nazi flag. And he said that he was going to kill President Biden. And so for a brief hot second, the media were like, our dream scenario has emerged. Here it is. A white supremacist, MAGA-hatted, Jussie Smollett attacker who's about to ram into the White House with a U-Haul truck and a Nazi flag. All of our fancies are about to come true. All members of the media were Jeffrey Tubining it. They broke out the stores of KY. They were really getting ready for just a party. And then it turned out that the person who did it is a person named Sai Varshith Kandula. And he is an illegal immigrant. No. A fuller picture of Kandula also began to emerge from an acquaintance who attended high school with him in suburban St. Louis. Apparently, the friends were shocked by allegations against him. They portrayed him as quiet and kind. They did not say what country he was originally from or when he arrived in the United States. Assistant Federal Public Defender Diane Shrewsbury, who was appointed to represent Kandula, did not offer a defense of Kandula in court. Apparently, they say that it appears this guy is a crazy person. In fact, Kandula liked to wear a surgical mask with Biden's name on it during the pandemic because he got a reaction from the people at Marquette University where he was going to school. Kandula apparently, he kind of lost his mind, and again, not here legally. He told authorities he bought the flag because Nazis have a great history, and he admired their authoritarian nature, eugenics, and their one world order, according to charging documents. And he called Adolf Hitler a strong leader, but he wasn't a Trump supporter, so not a national news story. We can't have a conversation about illegal immigration or who's in the country legally and who's not. That would be a conversation media doesn't want to have. So instead, we just won't have the conversation at all. And so the story, poof, it disappeared. It no longer exists. Just like many local news stories, it popped into the news for a brief hot second, and then, like that, it was gone. Remember the last time you got a free phone? You started out feeling pretty good about yourself, and then came those hefty activation fees, the 4-line requirements, and of course, the binding contract. Pure Talk is giving you a free 5G Samsung Galaxy phone without the feeling you've been duped. When you switch over to Pure Talk's unlimited talk and text data plan that comes with a mobile hotspot, you will get a 5G Samsung Galaxy for free. That's right, unlimited everything at a fraction of the price of Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, you'll be on America's most dependable 5G network. Well, how do I know? Well, because I am a customer. I do all my business calls on Pure Talk. Make the switch to Pure Talk, the cell phone wireless company I'm proud to stand behind, because they are proud to stand behind our mission here at Daily Wire. Pure Talk's U.S.-based customer service team helped me make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. I was even able to keep my phone number. Head on over to puretalk.com/Shapiro. Get your free Samsung Galaxy when you sign up for unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. That is puretalk.com/Shapiro. Again, Pure Talk is wireless for Americans by Americans. They're a company that doesn't hate your guts, and they'll bring you the best available cell coverage. Again, head on over to puretalk.com/Shapiro and get that free Samsung Galaxy when you sign up for unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. Most of your dad's tastes get better with age. Steaks, cars, naps. When it comes to underwear, he is still rocking the Fruit of the Looms from like 1979. No, that is no good. Give him the new Tommy John underwear. When you wear Tommy John, you're much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. That's because Tommy John moves with you and keeps you cool. Thanks to a breathable, lightweight fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing bands, Tommy John makes the best underwear on planet Earth. I know, because I wear only Tommy Johns. They grace this magnificent tuchus every single day. Since dads always want the best for you, grab a pair of Tommy Johns for yourself as well. Every purchase is backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free, guarantee. Get your Father's Day gifts early at Tommy John's Memorial Day sale now through May 30th. Save 30% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/Ben. That's 30% off at TommyJohn.com/Ben. TommyJohn.com/Ben. See site for details. Again, go check them out. They make the best underwear on planet Earth. Super durable, super comfortable. 30% off at TommyJohn.com/Ben. That is TommyJohn.com/Ben. See site for details. Trump did have one more response. He put out at Truth Social a fake Twitter Spaces including an AI voice of Elon Musk and an AI voice of Ron DeSantis. And then also his Twitter space, his imagined Twitter space for Ron DeSantis' launch includes, I kid you not, Elon Musk, Ron DeSantis, George Soros, Klaus Schwab, Dick Cheney, Adolf Hitler, the devil, and the FBI. This, I guess, is Trump's idea of a funny response to the Twitter space campaign launch, is that DeSantis' backers include Soros, Adolf Hitler, Satan, and the FBI, which, boomer meme energy coming in strong here.
Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just speak to the
I don't think George knows how to use Twitter.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Can I please make my big announcement now? Everyone just...
Hello!
Just shut up, George.
Can somebody just mute George?
Dick, could you try not to cough on the...
Okay, so how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI, this is not a private call. This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in. Anyway, guys, we invited everyone to this Twitter space so Governor Ron DeSantis could...
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
You go, girl.
Wait, the devil is gay?
So what? Everyone in this call is gay. I happen to know every single one of you has a secret gay lover hidden in your closet.
Yeah, this is what Trump put out. So, them's your choices for the Republican primary, I guess, sort of. Okay, so that is Trump's response. And of course, the media pick up on this also, as you can imagine, right? All those headlines are from mainstream media outlets, the vast majority of them. And meanwhile, you have, overt fans of Trump like David Jolly on MSNBC declaring this just a full-scale disaster, total disaster.
This is the biggest day in the political life of Ron and Casey DeSantis, and it has become absolutely humiliating, rawly embarrassing,
look at how happy the people are on
emasculating,
MSNBC.
mortifying. Choose your word. This has been a disaster for Ron and Casey DeSantis, because even the decision to do this on Twitter Spaces leans into the weirdness of Ron DeSantis. And it also suggests his greatest vulnerability is this idea that he's governor safe space, that he can only be approached and he can only get in front of people if it's been orchestrated and he's in a bubble. So he does it on Twitter Spaces. And then we get to the real dangerous part, the ideology. He associates tonight with someone who has a platform for regressive ideology, Elon Musk, and it brings to the forefront these themes that are the Christian white nationalist themes that bring up his culture war and his marginalizing of already marginalized communities in the state of Florida. A disaster.
So David Jolly,
for Ron DeSantis,
the former congressperson, now on MSNBC, it's a disaster. And Joy Reid, Joy Reid is so happy. If you can't see the clip, Joy Reid looks like she needs to smoke a cigarette after all of that. And there's a reason that MSNBC is happy. And listen, is that good for DeSantis? Of course it's not good for DeSantis. It's not good for DeSantis because, again, one of DeSantis' basic pitches is, I'm extremely competent. I'm good at what I do. All you're going to get from me is like the meat and the potatoes of politics. You're going to get good policy, and it's not going to be a shambolic bleep show. And then, of course, you get what you got on Twitter Spaces. So that's a bad look. That's a bad look. Now, does this mean the campaign is over? So many members of the media are like, the campaign is now over. Guys, will you calm your asses down for like half a second? The campaign ain't even 24 hours old at this point. Okay, the campaign has barely begun. And in fact, there are polls out that are showing that basically Trump and DeSantis in the primaries in many of these states are head and head. When it comes to a head-to-head matchup between Trump and DeSantis without any of these other candidates in the race, the latest Marquette poll shows Trump and DeSantis pretty close to even, like Trump at 52, DeSantis at 48. There are other polls showing him way ahead because you include the other candidates, and they start picking away at DeSantis' support. In other words, it is very, very early. And remember, there's no such thing. I mean, if there's one thing we know from the Trump presidency, there is no such thing as a 72-hour news cycle. There's only a 48-hour news cycle. So if you are suggesting that the shambolic nature of the Twitter Spaces launch is somehow going to cripple DeSantis' campaign for the long haul, I have a tough time believing you. That does not mean that it was a good launch. It was not a good launch. It was a very, very bad launch. And it was a bad launch because, again, it undermines the reality of DeSantis' campaign, which is he's an excellent governor. He's very good at what he does. He's going to hit all his marks. And then when your launch is, you don't hit the marks. And when you're running against the greatest showman in presidential political history, right? A person who literally made his name on being a showman, that is not what you are looking for. So DeSantis, for his part, tried to respond to this by saying that basically this is a victory. The reason it's a victory is not because Twitter Spaces crashed. The reason it's a victory is because I mean, Donald Trump had to stack like a room with his supporters at Mar-a-Lago in order to do a launch, and it was pretty disappointing, as you will recall. At least DeSantis can claim that he had 700,000 people minimum who were ready to watch simultaneously him announce this actual thing. Here was Governor Ron DeSantis announcing that they broke the internet.
We had a huge audience. It was the biggest they'd ever had. It did break the Twitter space. And so we're really excited with the enthusiasm. But ultimately, it's about the future of our country. Trey, I'm running to lead a great American comeback. We know the country's on the wrong track. We see it with our eyes. We feel it in our bones. We see the border being overrun. We see crime infesting the cities. We see the federal government making it more difficult for families to make ends meet. And we have a president who is a listless vessel, not energetic, and not dealing with the key challenges that are facing our country. But it does not have to be this way. Our decline as a country is not inevitable. It is a choice. And I think we can choose a better pathway.
Okay, so Team DeSantis' response again, you got to spin this somehow in the way they're spinning it. And it's not false, but it obviously doesn't overcome the sort of glitchy failure of Twitter Spaces is there are so many people who wanted to see me that obviously there's a crowd. And again, that is not incorrect. They did, in fact, break the internet, although obviously they would be better off if the internet had not been broken. Alrighty, we've reached the end of this part of the show, but you don't want to miss what's coming up next. We'll be speaking with Bishop Robert Barron. We'll be talking about the Judaization of Catholicism. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.